past self, we have Temperance, which, first of all, usually refers to patience. So you have to have been very patient so far. And the overall energy of the reading was Eight of Pentacles. So this is diligent, hard work. And you've been very, very patient for this growth that you had to do. In the current self, we have Seven of Pentacles reversed. Even though you're being very patient, you also feel like your efforts might have been wasted. Like you're not succeeding. But that is only a fear you have from the overall reading. So in the current self, you feel very unsure about the trajectory that you're going in. You feel like you have been patient, you are working very hard, but you're not seeing any success yet. And you're kind of starting to lose faith. Now, in your highest self, you have Eight of Wands, which is action. You've been patient, waiting for something, but the best version of yourself is a person of action. But the challenge for you is King of Wands. Now, I would say that in this case, the King of Wands would refer to high expectations in your case. You're afraid to take action because you have put such high expectations on you that you're scaring yourself. You have intimidated yourself into inaction, into Eight of Wands reversed here. Now, where could this be coming from? Well, in the past, in the family patterns, we're having Nine of Swords reversed. Now, the fact that it's reversed is actually a really good thing, which means you're coming out of this. You're coming out of this anxiety, but it looks like that from childhood you picked up a lot of anxieties over performance. Now, I think that these high expectations might have come from your own parents who put impossibly high expectations upon you to the point that you just froze, which probably led to them getting angry at you and being disappointed with you, which just reinforced that cycle of anxiety and inaction. You were too afraid to do anything because your parents will get angry at you, disappointed with you. But right now we see that this Nine of Swords is in reverse, which means you're healing from this, which is a very, very good thing. And in the personal issues, we see Six of Swords. Now, personal issues can also refer, in this case, to coping mechanisms. So your coping mechanism right now is actually letting go of that anxiety, of performance anxiety, essentially here, which is a very, very beautiful thing, beautiful energy you're learning. Now, your highest self is a person of action, of quick, rapid, successful action, and you're moving towards that. You're moving towards becoming this person here. But you have to go through the Six of Swords, which is this transition. Now, your conscience, your senses are also telling you the same thing, because you have Eight of Swords in reverse. So your conscience, your moral standards, your senses are also telling you to let go of those self-imposed restrictions, to shed that old skin, to shed that old pattern, and to essentially move. Because Eight of Swords is somebody who has stopped moving, because in the original tarot deck, the Rider-Waite deck, the Eight of Swords is a woman bound with a blindfold on with 8 swords around her. So she's completely immobile and blind. But the thing is that it's not a real prison. She can actually walk through those swords at any moment. And here you have realized it. You have realized that you can simply act. And in your desires right now, we have Five of Cups. Now, Five of Cups talk about grief and loss. But same way as you see in this card, there are 3 cups upright, 2 cups downturned. So in the original, there is a man crying over 3 cups spilled, and there are 2 shiny cups behind him. So your desire, I believe, is the 2 cups, but you're kind of grieving. You're grieving the past right now, but you actually want those 2 cups. And you're working really, really hard towards it, even though it doesn't feel like it to you. It feels like you're stuck, you're patient, and your efforts are wasted, that you're not succeeding. But in reality, actually, you're working really, really hard, because you're healing, because you're in that 6 of Swords right now. And while you might not be consciously aware of it, but you're healing emotionally here. And this is not an easy thing to heal from, because we're talking about a very deep-seated childhood pattern of impossible standards put upon you. So basically somebody projected their own anxieties and kind of like not feeling good enough feeling on you. Like you were good enough, but some kind of adult, probably your parents, projected their own feeling of not good enough, even though you were always good enough. And you're realizing that now. But healing from that kind of childhood trauma is a monumental task, and you're actually doing it right now, which is why the Eight of Pentacles came out as the overall energy of this reading. Now, this is not something you will be able to have like a tangible evidence that you're healing from it. It's just something you will notice in hindsight a bit later, when you will maybe wake up one day and notice how you're doing all of these things and there's no anxiety when you move about the world. And that is the moment when you will have realized the success of what you're going through right now. Now, in the lesson here that you're supposed to learn from all of this is Seven of Cups. Now, Seven of Cups is a very interesting card. Now, I always translate it as confusion. Confusion can immobilize you because there are so many choices to the point that you can't make a choice. And this is a theme in this reading, because you have Eight of Swords and Nine of Swords. Though they are reversed, but in upright position, that is somebody who's frozen in fear. So this is exactly what you were supposed to learn here. This confusion, this confusion that immobilizes, freezes you, and you are actually learning from it. You are actually learning from it. You are succeeding. You have understood you have identified the problem, the lesson, and you're slowly but surely, diligently fixing it. And in the advice here, you have Two of Cups. And as you can see above it, in the desire, you had the Five of Cups, which means You're grieving the past, but you're hoping for a better future. You're hoping for this Two of Cups, and you got those Two of Cups in your advice. So whatever those Two of Cups are for you, go for them. Whether it's a new person, a union of a new person, or some kind of new union within you, balance within you, a new hobby, a new job, or whatever that brings you that balanced fulfillment emotionally. Because in the past, you felt loss, grief, and emotional emptiness, absence, essentially. And you're always desiring, hoping for that emotional fulfillment, that balanced union. And in the advice, the universe is advising you to go for those Two of Cups, because I think the universe is telling you that you have learned your lesson, that you have done well, that you have completed the cycle that you needed to realize and understand, to let go of that childhood trauma, of that challenging King of Wands, that demanding King of Wands. And I think you have been given the go-ahead that you're allowed to go ahead and proceed and act, become that Eight of Wands, that all of the obstacles have been removed from for you. Now, in the Oracle cards, in the past influence, we got the Karma of Kutuhala. For the best future, you got Alpha of Alcyon. For how to proceed from now on, you got Anapausis. And the overall energy of the Oracle deck was the Shekinah. Now, Shekinah is a very, very interesting card, because Shekinah talks about a person, an entity who becomes kind of like a vessel for the light to enter. Essentially, you are capable of becoming the divine light. You just have to realize it yourself and open up yourself to it. And what the divine light is, it's just essentially love, good feelings, brightness, openness, forgiveness. And you are exactly that. But the trick to this is to become receptive to it, because a lot of times we close our hearts because we have been hurt and traumatized, especially for you, since we see in the family patterns, the Nine of Swords, you have been traumatized in a very deep, deep way. And that is what completely closed your heart. And the overall energy here for the Oracle deck is telling you that you are the opposite of that Nine of Swords. You are a Shekinah. You are the expression of divine light in this world. One of, like, it's not a card for every person here, but there are some people who are kind of in higher spirits, and in general, the people who naturally always find the silver lining in any situation. It doesn't matter how dark the day gets, but there are these people who will always find a bright side to any dark situation, and that those kinds of people usually become the Shekinah. Now, in the past influences, the perspective on how to deal with those past influences, we have Karma of Kutuhala with the number 43, which adds up to 7. So that's a destiny number 7. So your past was destined to be that way. Let's read you the oracle, because these oracles are very, very insightful. Your sacred soul passion is powerful enough to shift the state of your inner reality on your outer experience, so commit to what truly ignites your heart and do not be dissuaded by anything or anyone. If you're seeking to make a commitment, do so when it truly connects you to your heart. Follow your genuine, meaningful bliss. Know that no matter what appears to be, you shall prevail, you shall arise. Kutuhala is a Sanskrit term that translates as that which excites wonder. Even if it doesn't seem like it will lead us anywhere practical, following our bliss can allow for something beautiful and deeply fulfilling to unfold. We often pursue what is sensible and secure, yet what would be more appropriate or divinely and delightfully inappropriate than pursuing a path so intoxicating, so fascinating, so utterly mesmerizing to the spirit that, no matter what challenges arise, you feel so much love and commitment and passion you shall not turn away. That is the stuff of potential greatness. We might call it being led by our hearts. Kutuhala is permission to do just that. The shadow side or unconscious pursuit of Kutuhala is seen when we chase our bliss in such a way that nothing genuine ever gets a chance to mature. We might be lured by greener grass and chase after every new possibility like a butterfly flitting from place to place. This doesn't involve the heart, but rather the restless mind, which acts from fear and avoidance rather than using passionate devotion as its foundation. The commitment that emerges out of true Kutuhala is not about clipping one's wings, but about growing them and learning how to fly skillfully. Without commitment, one takes a leap, tries to fly, fails, and rather than going through the process again and again until there is understanding that leads to mastery, one tries to ride a bike or surf, dance, teach, heal, or innumerable other things, never giving any a chance to settle and evolve. There is inherent wisdom in Kutuhala. Let yourself be truly excited and inspired. Allow yourself to stumble, to not to know, to become the holy mess that precedes sacred rebirth. When your attraction is deep and soulful, you will have the capacity to stay the course, even through difficulties. Don't allow the ego to tell you that the struggle must be a sign a path isn't right for you, and thus drag you away in a search of a substitute paradise. The oracle of karma of Kutuhala can relate to those times when you are just discovering the path, feeling inexplicably fascinated by something, and are encouraged to explore just what the true nature of that fascination could be. Then the karma of wonder is guiding us to fulfill the deepest longings of our soul and attain spiritual freedom in the process. We often think of karma as negative, but positive karma is our connection to guiding grace, the soul's delight that empowers us to live with joy and rapture. We can cultivate positive karma in the way we live our life, from the heart with forgiveness, a sense of worth and gentleness in our hearts. This oracle guides you toward spiritual empowerment, your ability even today to create something positive, gracious, or loving. What ways of being and which practices would enhance your ability to be a generator of positive karma this lifetime? Small steps can lead to great accomplishments when we stick to a path. Be patient in your passion and you shall go far. This oracle encourages you to recognize that in its own inimitable way, spirit is practical. It just tends to go via the deliriously rapturous, astonishing, and deeply healing route. Trust what you love and let your heart lead you. You and your life shall become luminous, sanctified in the grace of alchemical transformation. An unexpected and miraculous arising is at hand. And there is a small prayer here as well. I call upon the heart wisdom of sacred passion and higher purpose. May I be graced with the discernment to recognize what is true, valuable, authentic, and genuinely purposeful in my life. May I release all else with a sense of humor and willingness to recognize that I have learned something useful. I allow myself to be inspired rather than frightened by the passion of my heart. I choose to learn from what I love and be led through what inspires and excites me. I trust the passion in my heart is the same passion the universe has for me, and that the inspired, excited, curious feelings are cosmic breadcrumbs leading me along my rightful path. May all beings be guided lovingly to fulfill their highest divine destiny. Now, this oracle directly ties into your highest self and your challenge and your family pattern. Coincidentally, it's also called the karma of Kutuhala. So as the description of it already explained, you have a tendency of starting a lot of things and then dropping them out of fear that you're not going to be good enough. And this is a past influence that is hindering you, but you're learning now to overcome it with those 6 of Swords, with those 9 and 8 of Swords reversed, and the universe telling you to go for those 2 of Cups. The universe is telling you, you are ready. You have fulfilled your karma. You have bought out your karma, call it what you want. You have lived through the cycle and now you're allowed to proceed. And the wisdom in the karma of Kutuhala is that set your mind on what is your passion and stick to it. Don't drop it, because you have a tendency of dropping things that you are passionate about. Hobbies, whatever it was in the past, all kinds of educational things. But this one, those 2 of Cups, that thing that you want, those 2 of Cups, stick to them. Don't drop them. All right. So what is your best future? And the perspective on how to access it will be the Alpha of Alcyon, number 24, which bases to 6, which is unconditional love. Let's see. So, Alpha of Alcyon. A positive twist of fate and a windfall of good fortune are destined for you. Brightness and hope will alleviate negativity and give you the strength to find your way through a time of adversity or challenge. Finally, you will experience peace, love, and deep connection with your true self and the universe. Good things are on their way to you. The brightest star in the Pleiades star system, Alcyon holds the frequency of love, the sacred feminine, healing power of compassion, and the grace of mercy. In the myth of ancient Greece, Alcyon was so in love with her husband Sei that she referred to him as Zeus, and he referred to her as the divine wife of Zeus, Hera. Zeus was so irritated by such grandiosity that when Zeuxis was at sea, Zeus struck his ship with a lightning bolt. In her grief, Alcyon threw herself into the sea. Moved by mercy, the gods transformed the lovers into kingfishers. These birds embody the spiritual medicine of abundance, love, prosperity, peace, and happiness, bringing blessings of hope and healing to humanity. The Halcyon days take their name from this goddess turned kingfisher. They are the 7 days on either side of the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. During this time, there are said to be no storms, only peaceful weather. Legend has it that the god of the winds calms all storms during this period so Alcyon can nest safely. The term now symbolizes a period of luminous grace amidst a challenging time during which one can rest in tranquility. It is also an omen of more peaceful days of love and prosperity ahead. Alcyon is the goddess of grace and mercy, especially in the face of heart-wrenching loss. She reassures us that we will find a way through and that there is comfort for us when we need it, even if further work needs to be done before we can be fully released into a new era of happiness. When Alpha of Alcyon makes an appearance, we are near to the deepest, darkest phase of our suffering and can trust we are already beginning to emerge on the other side. Alpha brainwaves are deep, calming waves. They are what we experience when daydreaming or slipping into peaceful relaxation or meditation. In the alpha state, imagination and intuition are heightened. As such, these brainwaves are a gateway into the subconscious mind. As the bridge between conscious, everyday awareness and deep altered states, alpha waves allow us to be awakened and functioning while connected to an inner well of wisdom and support. If we are in stimulation overload, alpha blocking can occur. Learning to consciously switch off and relax by dropping into the 8 Hz to 12 Hz range helps us melt away stress and tune into our intuition without becoming too floaty and unfocused. The Oracle of Alpha of Alcyon supports us in relaxing and reconnecting to optimism even during tough times. In such a state, we will realize that difficulties will eventually come to an end and we will be provided for. This oracle brings guidance that a new reality of happiness is available to us even now as we steadily make our way to the light of happy new start. And This one did not have a prayer. But essentially, again, this is confirming your Six of Swords here, that you are healing, or rather, you have healed from your past trauma, and you're moving into a more peaceful time, and actually not just a more peaceful time, but in a very, very prosperous time. That this Two of Cups that you're desiring and are advised to go for, that they will bring you a lot of prosperity, happiness, and peace. So whatever this desire that you've always been desiring, but always too afraid to go for it, because it will succeed. It will succeed. And in the 24 number, as I said, adds up to 6, which is a number of unconditional divine love. So you're supported by the universe in this pursuit of those Two of Cups. All right. The third oracle for Anapausis is a perspective on how to live your life from now on. Now that you're aware of your challenges, of your successes, and your best future awaiting, what is the perspective, how you should proceed with this information? Let's see. 4 Anapausis, and 4, by the way, is the number of stability. So your future is going to be stable. Anapausis, do not give up, but allow your heart to disengage from your struggles. Give yourself much needed rest. You are in a phase of recovery. If you have been off your path, you are going to come back strong. You will regain your spark of passion, inspiration, and devotion. A certain order of events needs to take place for your soul path to come to fruition. Commit yourself to your sacred journey, trusting the right thing will happen at the right time. The Greek word anapausis refers to the cessation of work so one can regain strength, renew vitality, and heighten creative productivity. It is a rest for success. The oracle of Anapausis advises physical, emotional, and psychological rest to reset yourself. That might mean switching off without fear or guilt. It is likely to mean giving up worries and the constant replay of anxiety-ridden speculations. Find some spaciousness and pleasure within and around yourself so you may experience healing and renewal. If you have been considering working with a healer, this is confirmation to pursue such a path. The oracle also recommends finding spiritual rest even if you are still working hard. Spiritual rest happens when we take sanctuary in the sacred. We give up trying to become something or other and instead tend fully to the task at hand, completely engaged in the moment. When we do so, we are trusting that the universe knows what it is doing and that we are part of a greater unfolding plan. In modern culture, we can aspire to become someone visible, someone influential, someone powerful, someone important. Yet no matter how much worldly or even spiritual power a person may appear to have, the idea that one person is more important than another belongs to the realm of ego. Spirit loves and respects all beings equally. What our world needs are more people who are spiritually connected to their hearts. As you become such a being, others will seek you out. You don't need to set yourself up as being anything at all. You can enjoy the relief of giving up any obsession with appearances or external validation. Instead, dive deep into nourishing inner realm of your own soul with trust in all that is and all that shall be. Free from distracting, disempowering pursuits, you may connect, rest, and restore yourself with a real sense of your spiritual beauty, value, and presence. In the space of restful immersion, you realize you are enough. Anapausis brings special guidance for those who have been going through deeply challenging struggles of mind, body, and soul. Perhaps you feel exhausted, confused, and afraid. Even if you're still going strong in the outer world, you have a need for spiritual convalescence. You're encouraged to allow yourself adequate rest and to engage in activities geared toward healing. This oracle recognizes there is something you have been working hard to bring into being. With a little more trust in your spiritual connection, you'll find the way easier or more joyful. You don't need to push yourself so hard. Spirit can sustain you through your devotion and commitment so that every effort you make is more than matched by the inflow of spiritual grace. Don't allow your mind or the deranged ways of this world to create weariness and yet another drama. Take rest in the spiritual light of love, rest from fear, rest from anxiety, rest from needing to work it all out right now. Even on your most confusing or most productive days, you can find renewal in spirit. It is always available to you, even right now. And yes, and this one did not have a prayer as well. But essentially, this is what the card is supporting, essentially, is the release of Nine of Swords, the release of Eight of Swords, and your Six of Swords journey. It is calling you to rest because it is recognizing your Eight of Pentacles, your hard work. The Spirit is recognizing that you're working your ass off right now to overcome all of these fears and challenges. And it's again confirming and urging you, encouraging you to go for those Two of Cups and confirming that you will succeed, that they will bring you the happiness and fulfillment that you're desiring. So you have two cards that are confirming that whatever those Two of Cups are for you, that you will get them and you will succeed. And let's read the Shekinah. So you're actually having two sixes here, so that's twice divine love for you. Shekinah, let's see, 65. So Shekinah, that was the overall energy of the Oracle deck. The spiritual worlds want to help you resolve your worldly concerns. It is safe for you to rely on Spirit as a loving, protective, helpful, and practical presence able to positively affect all areas of your life, including facilitating the resolution of physical problems. Do not limit your spirituality to concepts. Instead, apply your higher knowledge and principles, grow your wisdom, and live your path. Acknowledge your value as a person, as a soul. Treasure the gift of your path and let your spirituality integrate with all facets of your life. Shekinah is a Hebrew word that translates as the dwelling place of the divine. Shekinah is the embodiment of the light. She's in us when we are living our spiritual path, applying our wisdom and principles so our actions, our courage, our choices awaken compassion in our world. We are the sacred change makers and healers of the collective. The divine electricity of Spirit needs willing soul bulbs to shine forth in the world. In the esoteric Jewish tradition of Kabbalah, Shekinah is the sacred feminine, the capacity for an experience of Spirit entering the soul of a human being. When a soul is approaching the sacred experience of Shekinah, the ego has given way to some degree. There is enough inner space and heart willingness to surrender and receive so that Spirit can infuse the soul. The soul becomes more luminous with white light. We resonate more with Spirit than with ego. We feel like our true selves. When the soul becomes Shekinah, a holy dwelling place of Spirit, our experience is very different to the ego-driven way of living. We slow down and accomplish that which is meaningful. We feel connected to all that is, so we're inspired to do what we can to help according to our tendencies and talents. We co-create rather than compete. We accomplish our aspirations because we are no longer in our heads but practicing our spiritual path daily. Our practices resonate with our hearts, increasing our awareness, love, presence, patience, commitment, and peace. Our spiritual practices are our life rafts when the oceans of life become wild, and our magic carpet when we feel stuck and need inspiration and freedom. Our practices increase our compassion for ourselves and others. When Shekinah is in your reading, you have both permission and encouragement from Spirit to embrace spiritual practices that resonate with your heart and commit to them, especially when you think you don't need them or they don't seem to be doing anything for you. Those are the times you need them most. To embrace Shekinah is to embrace action, to commit, to engage, to walk our talk, and to be the light we want to see in our world. The ideas that nurture and inspire your heart are important, but the actions that transform hesitation, fear, and doubt into boldness, trust, and confidence are essential to bring those ideas to life. You have it within you to live your light and to put all your problems and concerns into the capable hands of deeper guiding wisdom. You're not giving away your power in doing so. You're actually empowering your sacred fulfillment. This oracle brings notice of an opportunity to apply your spiritual principles. You are encouraged to consider how you can live so that your inner beliefs and outer actions are in alignment. This is not about denying the ego and its pains. It is about having compassion and responding from a place of kindness and determination to heal. The oracle also suggests the matter of a material or physical concern can be touched and healed by spirit. Your task is to invite spirit in and allow it to do what it knows how to do. Find relief in the knowledge that spirit is with you and wants you to heal through all matters of concern. And here is a small prayer. I call upon Shekinah, sacred feminine presence of the divine spirit within my heart and within all hearts. Awaken, divine sister. We need you. To you I surrender all concerns in need of a higher solution. I trust that the healing capabilities of spirit are far greater than the depressing scenarios generated by fearful, wounded ego. I invite your sacred presence, protection, grace, blessing, and peace to restore me to my authentic path, to correct all issues in my life that have become tainted or confused by ego, ensure my soul's spiritual fulfillment for the benefit of all beings. Thank you for your love and presence with me always. All right, so the Shekinah was another call for you to take action to your desires, call to go for those Two of Cups. So basically, up until now, you were training for whatever it is that those two of Cups are representing for you. So for the September here, you're called, you're encouraged, you're urged and nudged and pushed by spirit to finally take action on accessing those Two of Cups. You have green light from the universe to go for it. You have paid your dues. You have earned this reward. So rise up and take action. You will succeed, and good luck.